Am I the a-hole for separating my finances from my husband because he won't quit giving his parents money? Me and my husband have been together for over 9 years, and separating our finances never occurred to me until this past year. I'm the saver and he's the spender. In the beginning, it didn't bother me because we had 2 incomes and weren't rich but lived comfortably. His family has always borrowed money from us, but rarely ever pays that money back. I personally don't lend money, not even to family, but I do not stop him from lending to his. A few years ago, my husband was in a bad car wreck and can no longer work, so I became the sole breadwinner. He now gets disability, but that was a 4-year process. In that time, we dwindled our savings to nothing and came close to losing everything. Our debt mounted and there was nothing I could do. When he received his back pay, I only asked him to pay off his vehicle, a loan in which I've paid over 50 grand on in the last few years, and put some in savings. He did neither. Instead, he blew the money, loaning over 10 grand to his family and paying nothing towards the debt we created. During this time, I was able to save some money from my paycheck, but not much, and had plans to pay some debts off once I have enough saved. He knew I was saving to do this. About a month ago, I noticed over $700 missing from our savings, and I asked him what happened. He replied with, "I loaned it to my parents." I asked when he was going to receive it back because that money was already spent and I needed it. He said, "I don't know when they can afford to." I blew up and lost my shit. He didn't ask me. We didn't speak about it. He did it behind my back because he knew it would piss me off and I would say no if he asked. We had a huge fight. I figured after that fight he would stop, but no. Yesterday I checked my account and another $1,000 was gone. Gone where you ask. He gave it to his parents. I'm so mad I see red. I flat out told him that as of today, I'm done with his parents. I'll pay half the household bills and buy our food, and that's it. If he wants to lend all his disability to them, fine. But I'm not gonna go bust my ass 60 hours a week so he can keep giving our money away. So am I the a-hole for going to the bank and withdrawing all the money I put there and opening a new account he doesn't have access to? He seems to think I am and says that I should want to make his parents happy. I would like to see them happy. I just don't want to pay for that happiness.
Not the a-hole. You should have done that way sooner, if he is like that with money. It seems like he has no sense of how to handle money and no idea of what happens if you are in debts. Sounds like he has this from his parents' family, as they also always borrow money and never pay back. Separate your finances and also review your relationship if your husband thinks so little about you, that he put his family way above you and not even talk about you, but use you as an ATM for his family.
A separation of finances might not be the only separation necessary here. This is not a new behavior, since after the accident, it's always been like this, just not that impactful. There's a disrespect for this partnership in general from his side.
Not the a-hole, but if he's at the point where he's comfortable stealing money, then he is comfortable racking up credit cards and tanking your life together. Check your local laws and see if marital debt is shared. As for the way forward, your marriage will only survive if he puts your finances first. Right now, he is perfectly content letting you starve if it means he can fulfill his parents' request. 2 things need to happen: marriage counseling and a meeting with a financial advisor. He may also need individual therapy to cut the financial cord. You also need to take a good hard look at yourself. What are you willing to put up with? What is your breaking point? Do you keep hitting your breaking point and still stay?
Unfortunately, I do keep hitting that breaking point and stay. We have an 8-year-old daughter, and I want her to have both her parents, and didn't feel money was a good reason to leave, especially since I love him. I'm just tired of his family.
Not the a-hole. Check and lock your credit too. Who knows what credit cards he might have opened in your name.
I don't have to worry about that. We ruined all that after his wreck. Only thing we have is debt.
Open the new bank account at a totally different bank and immediately go paperless. Don't leave anything to chance, since he has zero self-control when it comes to taking your money.
Not the a-hole. Of course he thinks you are the a-hole. He can't spend your money on anything he wants anymore. I think what you did was very smart, separating the money. Hopefully he won't slack on his half of the bills because he is spending so much and expects you to pay more than half, knowing you won't let the bills not be paid.
At this point, I would consider separating. He doesn't care and has no problem spending money that ain't his, and his family are leeches, not the a-hole.
Am I the a-hole for not changing my name for my mom after she spent the last 18 years hating it? So, when my parents were expecting me, my mom decided to name me Catherine Elizabeth. My mom felt strongly about the name Catherine, and Elizabeth was a family name on both sides, so it was a kind of compromise name. Neither loved it, but Mom didn't like any of my dad's choices for middle name, and my dad didn't like Catherine, and with Mom saying no to the middle name, they decided to use a mutual family name. During my birth, my mom suffered many complications. She was rushed for an emergency C-section and ended up needing multiple blood transfusions and was out of it for a couple of weeks. During that time, Dad decided he was going to name me what he wanted, since my mom cut him out of choosing my first name. And I ended up with a name my dad loved, but my mom hated it. She had no say in the name. By the time she was healthy enough, they were told they would need to pay to change it. Mom was bitter. My parents are still married, but never recovered from it, and I 100% get it. My mom was betrayed and is angry that he went against what she wanted while she was at her lowest point. The thing in all of this is I love my first name. I got the middle name Elizabeth still. I don't care for that either way, but I love my first name, even though my mom hates it. She always wanted me to be Catherine, and after I turned 18 a few weeks ago, she asked me to let her pay now for me to change my name. She said she regrets not doing it when I was a baby. But she admitted my name makes her so angry and brings the betrayal up to the front of her memory. So she would love for me to wear the name she chose now. But I hate Catherine. I don't want to be Catherine. This really upset my mom. She thinks my name is dumb. It's unique and not common in the US as a name. And I admit it's not for everyone, but it is for me. I'm glad I ended up with my name over Catherine, but I know my mom is struggling with that realization. She really thought I would want to be Catherine when I turned 18 and would be glad to do it with her offer to pay. And she told me how disappointed she was, and she asked me if I would consider it for her. I told her if I did, it would make me unhappy. She got kind of mad at me, and she implied she felt betrayed all over again. Am I the a-hole?
Not the a-hole. And your mom should have left your father cause no offense. He's a manipulative a-hole. That is something I would never forgive and leave him over. At the end of the day, it is your name, and if you love it, that should be all that matters. But damn, how much money was it to change your name that she couldn't afford it in all these years?
For an infant, it costs peanuts. It's as an adult that it starts to get expensive. So many documents to change.
Not the a-hole. Your name is your identity. It was this for 18 years. Yes, it was a betrayal of your dad. And I don't get how she hasn't thrown him out after that. Would have kicked him so hard and even sued him, if possible, don't know. And then changed the name, but now it is too late. It was your name, and you are a person of yourself. Your mom shouldn't hold the grudge against you and the name, but against your dad. You are not a baby doll she can rename and put on display. You are your name, and she has to deal with it.
She would never have successfully sued him, but she could have changed my name when I was a baby and divorced Dad.
Exactly. She chose not to do both things. She made her choice. Now it's up to you, and you love your name. So, not the a-hole. Keep your name and tell your mom to get therapy. Not the a-hole. She needs to take this out on her husband, not on you. She had a 12, 18-month window to change it when you were a baby, before you started identifying it as your own name. She could have used the name she preferred as a nickname. So many things she could have done. Furthermore, she is asking you to reject the name your father chose, which means she is asking you to take sides in a battle that is not your battle, a battle in which it is inappropriate for you to meddle, and she is wrong to ask it. You are not betraying her.
What do you think of these stories? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel to see more interesting videos.